Well, hello on the Rockers. On this week's episode, we are celebrating high spirits, literally, with psychic and spiritual medium Roy Tomko, tarot reader and intuitive Adyriusleo. Oh, he's a witch, apparently, too. And my guest co-host, Sassy Pants himself, Michael Vega, and me, your sassy host with the sassy most. Raise a glass and let the drinks begin.
Oh, my God, I can't.
Thank you for being.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Adyriusleo, that's how you say it.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm not cultured in the witch language. My God, is that laugh real? Buns and Bows and Pantyhose, On the Rocks podcast, the place where we're too glam to give a damn. Okay, some movie news. It was just announced that they're making a sequel to A Christmas Story. Now we know A Christmas Story is played 24/7 during the holidays, and it's actually starring the original Little Ralphie, by the way.
Really?
He's coming back, and the movie is set 30 years later, and he's coming back home to reminisce about the memories and deal with the death of his father. Sounds real fun.
Do you think it'll be woke?
What's going to be woke? It's like, oh, you poke your eye out. Now, you poke your eye out. Who knew?
The Chinese restaurant. Rah, 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 rah. What?
Now we just got shut down.
We
just got canceled. Anyway, Darius Leo, we just got canceled. Anyway,
That's the movie.
But it sounds like such a drab theme. Like, why don't we have Christmas with his own family and not worry about death and all that? You poke her out, indeed. Like us on Twitter and Instagram at On The Rocks On Air, and on Facebook, On The Rocks Radio Show. Send me an email. Book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. The show is presented by Straw Hut Media. You can watch and or listen to our almost 300 episodes at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. You can watch us on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire TV on the Outlet.tv app, Facebook Watch. We are streaming with pride on SVTV and now on Channel 31 on the East Coast, 4 times a week. Hello, East Coast. The show is brought to you by FanDaddies.com, bringing you the sassiest and classiest clacking fans and hats for pride, EDM parties, sassy selfies, and even sci-fi nerds. Live long and prosper and head to FanDaddies.com. Support a small business. Okay, turn on your FM. You can now catch my deep, sultry voice on Channel Q FM twice a day in over 38 states with my sassy news bites representing GED Magazine and MetroSource Magazine. Pucker up, Buttercup. Check your local FM listings for Channel Q. All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's welcome back.
You know, how do you do that with one breath?
Yeah.
I have a lot of lung capacity. Like those opera singers, those big opera singers, it's like Pavarotti. I'm the Pavarotti of
I can
pods.
feel it.
I used to work backstage at...
I'm sure you did.
Yes, I did. At the Dorothy Chandler of the Opera House.
Wait, what? Huh?
Okay, and?
Oh, it was brilliant. I would sit there with my popcorn, and these ladies would be like, "Oh," and they'd get off stage to their assistants, slapping them. Get this fucking dress off me now! And I would laugh.
Okay, I have a really, really, really quick opera story at Dorothy Chandler. We know Placido Domingo was the artistic director for a number of time.
Yeah.
My ex and I, we took his ex's tickets to opening night of an opera. And, you know, there's the Golden Circle where, if you remember, you can go get drinks during intermission, whatever. We made friends with the old rich lady next to us, so she went to the Golden Circle. So we grabbed, her name was probably Matilda or something. So each of us grabbed her arm on the other, and she was so enchanted, so we walked right in. Nobody asked for anything. Then we snuck into the cast or the opening night party afterwards. We snuck in through the back to the service entrance. And Placido Domingo was there giving us like blah, 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 blah. And we got so drunk. We got the lead. It was Carmen. We got her so drunk. And then we took her to the Abbey until closing time. And then, and I'm not, this was years ago. I don't drink and drive. And it was my ex driving. But she didn't know she forgot what hotel she was staying. She couldn't speak English that well, and she was wasted off her mind. So we dropped her back off in front of the Dorothy Chandler at like 3 a.m, and she had a matinee the next day. Oh. I don't know if she showed
Which
up.
you ended up starring in, right? It was all a plot.
You know, it was the one where they got terrible singing today. It was awful. I would not recommend it.
But this was a true story. But like, this
She
only
was so
happens
dry.
in LA. Anyway, on that note, we're actually talking about psychics today. So don't get it twisted. Welcoming you back as my guest co-host today, Michael Vega is an accomplished theater and film actor whose career spans over 2 decades in New York City, San Francisco, and now LA. His latest short film, which is a prologue for the music video Cash Money Honey by Grayson Foster, took top prize at the Venice Short Film Awards in Venice, Italy, and was an official selection at the New York Tri-State International Film Festival. He is also a fixture in West Hollywood nightlife, blending his sassy personality and high spirits. Please welcome back Michael Vega.
Hi. So nice to be back. It's been a while.
It has been a while because COVID and
Well, I don't even,
everything.
like, what year is it? What I don't even know what month, year. Where
I just
are
know
we?
I have an age. So we just have to address this real fast. I got so many messages like, did you and Michael appear on a reality type TV show? The answer is yes. My friend here sued me on Judge Jerry TV, and so you did see our episode, which became quite popular.
What was it about? What was the?
Do you want to do it?
Okay.
I don't want to upset you.
I
Like
would love-
he got
please
so mad on
reenact
national
this.
TV.
Oh, he was at my place, and we were drinking after a show, just a little
Just
wine,
like
and
this?
yeah, and I put on some music, and this one starts what his attempt at dancing.
I was
and
drunk.
Breaks a piece of art, a piece of sculpture, just.
Art, ugliest thing I've ever seen. I do agree that art is subjective, but it was
It had
hideous.
meaning.
So did my
That's
dance.
like, that would be a good way to describe someone you had sex with the night before that was unattractive. Oh, he was art, darling. It was just, he was art.
I was research. I'm a curator.
Jerry pissed me off so. I gave him the evil eye from across the
He
room.
gets in a fight with Jerry Springer, and I'm just like,
I so did.
he's fighting, and I'm just like, I'm on TV. I'm staring at the camera, just smiling like an idiot. And then Jerry had me tap dance because he wanted to see the dance that I did. And
Wait, Jerry Springer?
yes, he has a judge show. You can actually see it on YouTube or streaming. And then the whole case, I honestly should have lost because I was drunk and I ruined something. The whole case shifted because he was being sassy. So Judge Jerry changed the law of physics and the law
Exactly.
of morality so that I won.
What did he
You
say?
should see my face.
The unreasonable behavior would be if he went to the wall and took it off, but it wasn't unreasonable behavior for him to, flail his arms and knock it off. I'm like, if he took it off the wall, that's not unreasonable. That's maniacal. Like, what?
Anyway, I won.
I mean, besides, everyone, when you're drunk and it's West Hollywood, everyone's got to flail something. If they're not fopping a fan, they're
Or fopping a
flailing.
fan. I love our On the Rocks fans.
Well, when was the last time you were invited to my place?
Well, that is true. That is true. Okay, so we are going to discuss everything from the psychic world, spiritual medium world, and I got tons of viewer questions, and we're going to get to them. But I want to know, coming from a Latinx-based home, I don't know if you, like me, were warded off of tarot, psychic stuff. I come from a Catholic household, and I was told, you don't ever do anything like that. No tarot, no nothing, because it's the devil and it's evil and it's going against God's will, even though we pray with strange beads and then we worship statues that are saints.
Growing up, what was the first thing you get with communion and that stuff? And I remember
First
that.
reconciliation.
Baptism?
What's that?
It's baptism, then
Then
confession, reconciliation,
I
and
don't
communion.
even know if I did all that because it wasn't really impressed upon me, even though
You'd still be in confession if you had it.
possibly. My grandmother had her rosaries and her candles, and
My grandma
I
too.
know they prayed, but I was never required to go to church. I
I-
remember rumblings when I was really young of some Santeria stuff.
And I want
But
to
then I
ask,
didn't
when we get to it.
understand.
What I think is funny though too. Here's the thing: a lot of the times, I grew up in a Latino community too, also where it was different. Than my family was more Seventh Day Adventist, but there were a lot of Catholics in there, and they'd be
Seventh
like,
Day Adventist, that's
"Oh
that's
my
something.
God, that was intense." But it was fun intense
That
because it's
explains
just
a lot,
like,
actually.
why do you think
It kinda
I'm
does.
such a rule breaker? You can't go outside on the Friday night or the Saturday
You
night.
can have
is the day of the
caffeine?
Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, I still drink coffee. Well, I mean,
No, but like
I'm
back
88
when you
That's
couldn't
a
do
thing?
anything.
Huh?
That's a thing.
Yeah,
You
it's a
can't-
drug because caffeine was considered
Caffeine,
a drug.
a lot of sugar, obviously no alcohol. So restrictive.
It was it was a very orthodox form of Christianity that takes the ideals of Judaism.
Hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. But I was gonna say, but what got to me a lot with my Catholic side of the family, they'd be like, we have Purissima where you worship the Virgin Mary. It's like, oh, Purissima, the Virgin Mary, and they start clapping, throwing stuff and things at the altar,
and leaving flowers and gifts.
Yeah.
And I was raised with this. I went to Our Lady of Fatima school.
Yeah.
And so I was raised with this beautiful love of Mary, but one of my weird-ass aunts would go to church twice a day. She's part of what's called the Blue Army, and they would fanatically pray the rosary all day, believe in the rapture. They were the most psychotic people I've ever met, and the least charitable and loving people I had ever met in my entire
I
life.
would love to meet the Blue Army.
Well, they're around still, and talk about a fanatical die for Mary. It's like, wait, number one, if you believe in all that, why aren't we paying attention to Jesus? And because Mary said, "My soul magnifies the Lord." It's like, okay, but I mean,
lost me.
It was
but
weird.
there
It was
a lot
this
of things that were
devotion.
taken, like the rosary beads. The rosary beads, they were Buddhist beads that
They
they
still
brought
are,
over.
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of things that were taken. I mean, you can.
Everything's
Look,
been co-opted from somewhere else.
Everything's from
That's-
something.
Even
from
the Noah story
somewhere.
is not from the Old Testament; it's from the Upanishads way earlier. Anyway,
Yeah.
and this episode's not going to be about bashing religion because
Yes, it
that's
is.
not what I want to know. But I want to know how both realms exist because my relationship has certainly changed with religion. But Mike, I want to know: have you, in preparing for our episode and talking to our guest today, have you ever experienced brushes with the afterlife or spirits or something?
Absolutely. There was my grandmother, may she rest in peace, passed away. Oh, Mom, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I can't remember if it's 6, 7 years ago. But there was the evening of when she was her birthday. It was a couple of years ago. And I had this dream where my grandmother's driving a small bus. And I was on it. I was on the short bus. Go ahead, go. Whatever.
I don't need to.
Yeah. And then the bus went off, like sort of off
my
the road,
God.
but then went into the sky, and I was fine. And then I found out, which I did not remember. Maybe I knew, but I didn't remember. My mom told me the next day that my grandmother used to drive
A bus?
one of the small buses.
Oh,
for, like,
wow.
special ed kids, and I don't recall that.
Wow, that's interesting.
So yeah, and I was the first grandchild.
So you're the
and
favorite,
I
first
was-
grandchild, favorite.
when she had her the stroke when she came out of the stroke that ended up killing her. I was the first name she said.
Oh wow.
My name, Michael.
I didn't know your grandma had a stroke. That's how my grandma went.
Yeah,
And we were
and there
like
was some
this.
neglect afterwards. There was like some doctor stuff, but anyway, not to get too morbid. But yeah, it was this weird thing where I didn't know this information, and then there it was, and I couldn't explain it.
Well, and we'll definitely get into this because I think there's a lot of memories that we have as kids that we don't remember that we remember, but
Yeah.
they're there. And I think when you're open and we'll talk to you guys about this, the spiritual realm can kind of connect those memories because time doesn't exist in the afterlife, which we'll speak on. But I want to talk about something a little sassy.
Yes.
I got so many different types of comments for this episode. I have some people that say, "Oh, I don't believe in any of that," blah blah blah, which is fine, and there are crooks out there that prey on people that are looking for guidance.
Yep.
But it's also, how our best friends don't really watch our shows or they don't come to our plays or they don't watch our web series because
Yeah.
they're our best friends. I'm like, oh, I know you. You're an actor. You do that.
Speak for yourself.
But there is that part of it. But then, like, strangers would like, oh, my God, you're such a great actor or whatever. I'm going to come see you or I'm going to listen to your podcast or whatever.
Yeah.
But those in our circle, they just assume that that they love you and blah, blah, blah. I'm just speaking from a large part. You know what I'm talking about, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I have to force my friends to come to watch when I was performing.
Yeah.
I did come watch and I'll buy you a drink after. Oh, okay. It was.
Yeah. Because they just
drink.
assume whatever.
Oh.
And it's like Jesus.
Shout out to my friends. I love you.
Yeah. And it's like Jesus was the
Hi,
least,
friends.
if we listen to the stories, Jesus was the least popular in his hometown. Because like,
Yeah.
how can you be the son of God? You grew up here. There's that kind of energy. I think that there's that kind of energy when our friends turn to the psychic world and start getting involved, and not to bring up your past, but you said it was okay to talk about. You were in a 14-year relationship with somebody who has recently gotten into tarot and readings. And I've met this person, and the personality has certainly changed over the years. What's your take? Do you believe that he has connected with this? Is there part of you that like, girl, I know you. That's not you.
I mean, I believe a lot of it is intuitive. He did do a reading for me. I mean, we haven't spoken in maybe just a year plus, but he did do a reading, but I couldn't separate myself from the fact that he knows me quite well. So anything that's in there, I felt like, okay, you're going with what you know about me, and you know kind of what I want to hear. So I couldn't really give his reading any sort of validity. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I kind of liked the passion in which he was relaying it. But yeah, I can't explain.
I mean, if my ex all of a sudden became in tune, I'd be rolling my eyes left and forward because I know like what an asshole he's been and like what a bitch. But people can change and they can connect to something else.
Absolutely. I mean, myself, I don't read cards or anything, but I consider myself to have empathic abilities. I know that for a fact from being, if you believe in that sort of thing, from being at a very young age. I didn't know what it was, and I do now. But that to me is more. Maybe I should read. Maybe I should read cards. I don't know.
Well, and we're going to talk about this. Being an empath or being an intuitive doesn't mean you get a book that's word for word. They grew up in 1984, and you know what I mean? That's not what that means. And so let's talk to our expert. So let me introduce. Roy Tomko is a gifted psychic and spiritual medium who grew up in New Jersey, by the way. He has sensed the spirit world for as long as he can remember. And although he's always been aware of his gift, it was not until recently, with major shifts in the world, such as COVID, that inspired Roy to focus on his gift to help others and connect with the spirit. He provides mediumship and psychic readings via Zoom and other video call methods to help sitters connect to the spirit realm. His spiritual gifts allow him to connect to clients' loved ones who have crossed over. He provides healing messages and evidence from the spirit world. He creates a safe and comfortable environment to those seeking guidance from the other side. And on Instagram, he does an amazing show called Talk with the Queens, where he has had sessions with big drag queen names to local drag queens, and he reads them. And to see this evolution of the persona we see from drag become a real person because of his readings, and that's a free show that he gives, by the way. It's amazing. And Readings with the Kings, where he also talks to male personalities from the LGBT community. It's so beautiful. Please welcome Roy Tomko.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me.
Hi, Roy.
Hey, Roy.
Also joining us is Darius Leo. He's been a hypersensitive since he's been able to walk, with knowledge of the occult, divinity, mainly tarot, and astrology, with a dash of sass. He's out of the closet with his gift and openly shares his talent to help see the fog that blocks one's path. Now, here's where he's a little bit different in our community. He is sarcastic. He is noble. He's a reader. He's also an actor, but he tells it like it is, whether you want it or not. And so he brings some reality to the whole environment. Please welcome Adyriusleo.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
All right, so let's talk to the experts.
Before you ask the question, where in Jersey did you grow up, Roy?
I am in Bergen County, so I'm right in the Rutherford area.
Okay, I
Are
grew
you
up
still
in
there?
Browns Mills, like Fort Dix, McGuire, Fort Space, down in southern Jersey.
Are you speaking
so
English?
cool.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what many words that were just spoken. Nope. To me,
Yes, I am. still.
anything
I'm still in
Jersey.
After downtown, I go, oh, what? There's something beyond here?
I know the
I
cruise
thought
ship
this was
port
the
in
United
Jersey.
States.
Yeah.
New York City adjacent.
So, but I want to talk to our
still here.
experts. What was your first brush with the other world or the psychic ability? What was that first instant that something different occurred to you?
Who wants to go?
Doesn't bother me.
It doesn't
Whoever,
bother me
wherever you,
either.
yeah.
Well, we can't
You
start
wanna
being
start?
polite around
Okay,
here.
well, you know what? I'll tell it as
Somebody
it
be
is.
the
Okay.
top.
Let's go right into it.
I was already born with it. I guess I just knew I was different. I would make my family a bit uncomfortable with the stuff I would say.
So that you would automatically know things that were going to happen, or
I did, but then I knew things that were going on in secret.
oh, interesting.
Like I knew about my aunt and her craziness, and I would say, like, I don't remember that much, but I remember I was told once, you scared your aunt because I looked at her and I said, I don't like your swimming pool because you do bad things in there.
Ooh.
And then my mom slapped me and then told me later on, Yeah, she used to practice dark magic and have these dark black masses in the swimming pool.
Now, do you remember
know?
how you would see this? Would you see it as an image, or you just would
I
blurt out
remember
what you
seeing
thought?
piranhas coming out of the pool, and I was like, I knew they weren't real, but I didn't like them.
There's
But then
symbolism there.
there was like these piranhas. I just remember hearing like them saying, you know, these words like "don't tell" or "a full moon," just little things like that. And I just eventually started putting it 2 and 2 together. But I mean, but it would happen off and on, like little things. Like I would meet somebody and I would feel their pain, and then all of a sudden, I'd go, "Hey, I know what you." I would say, "Hey, whatever, you know, this thing and such," and describe something to them, and they would just be like, "What the, fuck?" And you're gonna be fine.
Well, it's very funny. I met you in the noise of West Hollywood. And, in West Hollywood, like a night out or whatever, you come across so many other people. And the minute we met, I felt like this connection. I even, not like trying to pick you up or anything, but I was like, oh, let's connect.
Yeah.
But there was this different energy that you had in all of this noise.
Yeah, it was. The thing is, I was very closeted with it because I was
Because people think that you're crazy.
that. And then I had, not to lie, I mean, I might as well be out with it. But then my parents used to tell me I daydreamed a lot. That's why they used to put this brain monitor, and I had a cap. I would just
like
go
a
with
foil
wires.
helmet, or
Yeah, and it had
My
wires.
ex had that when he was a kid because he had ADHD and he had hyperactive brain, but he would daydream a lot, and so
Yeah.
they did this testing with a helmet. And for the testing, you couldn't just take it on and off; you had to wear it the whole day.
I had to go to the doctors, and they would pull it off with this alcohol, and it drove me fucking nuts. But they would test my brain because it was like my mom said, "Stop daydreaming." I would scare people with my daydreaming.
Yeah.
Or she would say, "Oh, you just blank out." So for years, I was like, I don't want to blank out. I don't want to do that. I just want to be fucking normal. And your husband's cheating on you. And I just want to be,
That's very interesting. I
But-
wonder how much of psychic ability in youth is misdiagnosed as ADHD, or because it's this scary thing for parents. And I'm sure as a parent, it must be very scary that you kind of shut that off. And I wonder, how much of that is not cultivated.
I mean, I think it's in us from the beginning. As we are made aware, and some of us, like, as we evolve in children and grow as adults, we continue to keep it. And some just put it in a different spot or by how we were raised, I was still obsessed with it as a child. I was still curious about it, even though I was told it was the devil, but I was still like, I like this. I'm curious.
That's like my aunt that I was talking about. Her description of the end of days and all of that was so horrific that I would stay away from anything. Which is now I have this weird curiosity about Ouija boards and all of that.
That's another story.
Do you think staying connected with it was in sort of defiance of being told that it's bad?
Like Pandora's box. Like,
Yeah, instead of putting it somewhere else, you kept it at the forefront. But I'm just curious if.
I would say I'm in the middle with that. It's like a gray zone because, I kind of felt like I was defying it because I just didn't like, for some odd reason, I knew that a lot of organized religions, they have a good point. It's just, I just knew a lot of times when this was done by man and this was
it's a
more
way
divine.
to keep their group in order and not questioning.
Exactly. So I wasn't comfortable with that. And I knew when I was having this, my grandma and I were much more close. She passed on, but she knew what I had. So we had a really tight connection, and she had kind of the similar thing going on. So she told me, she was like, just don't tell anyone, just keep going with it. She was very, like, my cheerleader on it. But I just kind of liked it in a sense because I got to see how I got to see kind of behind the mask that people wore in a sense. Like, I knew when someone was bull and I knew when someone was, or I knew things but the thing, brain fart. Here's the deal. I had to take it in, like I said, with the moral compass. Okay. I had to go in. I don't know what information I'm getting. It could be just my own imagination, but it could be real at the same time. So I would kind of tactfully use these words to get a clear understanding of this person, or eventually they start taking things off slowly, and I go, okay, this was real, or this was my own mind. But I loved it. I was like, I knew every single X. I knew exactly what they were going to do, but I wanted to test it, which was weird.
You know, and it is funny because not to spill your tea, but I'm gonna spill it. You went through a breakup, and
Oh, yeah.
and you and I were texting and talking, and you were talking like you knew every aspect of it, but some of it hadn't come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
Like you mentally were in that other place. In fact, it was. I mean, this is like a small like circle of life. You were actually doing the show, and you were not connecting. You were guest co-hosting, and something was just off. But still, nothing had really come to fruition at that point.
I knew something was up.
Yeah, and
I knew he was off.
Yeah, that's very funny. Roy, I want to know what was the first time you kind of sensed this, and how did you cultivate that as a youth?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up Catholic as well, right? So, but
And
my
you're still
mother and father-
you're still Catholic.
I'm still Catholic.
Yeah.
Yep, and I still practice and I go to church. I incorporate a lot of my religion into what I do. But my parents were very open and they were very understanding. I was able to see spirit at a very young age, and I learned as you grow up how to compartmentalize it, kind of. You know what I mean? So you kind of like block it out when things are happening, and I also feel that the spirit realm knows when to step away when you're going through certain things, and then when to pull it forward when it's time for you to really start to do the work. So I always would say I've always given my friends psychic advice. I've always felt like I've given them a piece of information, because it started to get to a point where everything that I was telling them was starting to happen or starting to come true, and they would continuously come back. But it's not until later in life that I realized that what I was doing was giving psychic advice. I just thought I was giving what I thought was just regular advice, but it was actually advice that I was feeling from their energy around them. And again, it was just like putting all the pieces together, right? And then finally mapping it out, which was kind of like the beautiful journey of it all.
Now,
and that's kind of like how it developed for me.
Now, like Darius Leo, he sees images and symbols kind of as his visions. How do you see your visions? How did they come across to you?
So the way that they communicate with me is I have my guides, but then I also have what I call like references, and they will pull from a book of reference that I have created, right? So through a lot of training, I've worked with a lot of different psychic mediums, I've taken classes and so on. And you add to this reference, this catalog of references continuously. So that way, when you're working with different people, things that you normally may have not had as an experience, you build off of this book of references so that when you are getting information, they are able to show you things that you may have not known originally. Now, I also, for me, it's more of just a knowing. Again, like when I was giving information to friends and whatnot at a younger age, it was just a knowing. So I know this to be a fact. I know this to be true. It's claircognizance for me. So right now, that's kind of how it happens. I know everyone gets images and visions differently. Some people can see motion pictures in their head. Some people can actually physically see them, hear, smell, right? There's so many different clairs that you could use to really get the information. Spirit will switch it up on you depending on what's going on, right? I've noticed that with me, they switch it up sometimes too. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm starting to smell things all of a sudden. Thank you so much for this. You know,
I'm
they play
clairaudient
game.
right now. For me, it's changed to clairaudience.
Oh, clairaudience, see?
Yeah,
see how
it'll
they do
just
that?
change.
They just switch
It's
it up.
just weird, yeah.
Well, and our bodies adapt, and I'm sure the way we receive information, even not being psychic, the way we receive information is very different. Our taste change, how we see changes, so this makes perfect sense. And it's interesting you bring up the education, because I got this question a few different ways from our audience, and it's for both of you, is what kind of education or training is there, or what have you done on your path to kind of cultivate these talents?
Yep. So, I mean, I've taken a lot of classes. So I've worked with a lot of different psychic mediums, even an international psychic medium as well. I've done mentorships. There's so much out there that you can do. There's so many practice circles that you can get into. I teach classes with a friend of mine who's also a very well-known psychic medium out in Long Island. We're actually doing a practice circle starting in March that people can get into, and if they want to join, they can learn and practice as well. So there's a lot of tools out there, right? And I just say, make sure you reach out to the right people, and that you are doing your homework and you're researching and really making sure that, you know, that you're connecting with someone. I will also say that when you do start to get into this work, personally for me, I can't speak for anybody else, it's nice to stay with a mentor or a teacher that has similar styles, because when you start to get too much information from too many different people, it can sometimes confuse you or cloud the way that you receive the information or start to process it, because you start to think in your head, this person taught it to me this way, but this person taught it to me this way. And now you're starting to get like mixed emotions on how to give the information. So I always like to say, if possible, try to stay with people that have similar paths and similar styles or similar teachings.
It's almost like going to acting style or acting school. There's all these different acting styles, and some ascribe to certain, but they're so different from each other. Now, when you say practice circles, it's not like you go to like a Hogwarts and there's a textbook and it's like, chapter 3, we're going to talk to Liza Minnelli today, or Judy Garland.
Oh,
God,
my
Liza has some
God. The
but,
power of cinnamon.
Right.
We're going to
It's
work
like,
with the power
we
of
are
cinnamon.
going to do ghosts today. It's not like that. So can you describe?
I smell cinnamon.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was just me. I'm fancy.
That means the processes you're doing will be speeding up soon.
Girl.
I like that.
But what happens in a practice circle? How do you? It's not a textbook, I'm assuming, right? So
No,
Oh, it's
it's
not.
not.
No.
what's happening?
So basically, a practice circle is a coming together of people who have the ability or who are working towards developing their ability. And, you know, you could do a psychic practice circle, you could do a mediumship practice circle, you could do a practice circle combining both. And there's a bunch of different exercises where you will pair people up with people within the same practice circle, and then you will also bring outside sitters in who will come and sit for these individuals and be like a sitter for them, where you will read them and we will give like a like an exercise. For example, what do they see of your world today? So they will have to sit there and tell the sitter, I feel that I'm getting information that you recently went to Starbucks this morning and you spilled your coffee and you had to get another one. Right, that's just an example. I'm making that up, but just so you understand. So that's kind of like, what do they see of your world today? Because when we present information that's very evidential like that, it helps a sitter to realize that that's information that only they would really know. No one else would know unless you had a spy camera in the Starbucks following this individual all day to know that that would have happened.
Yeah. See, with me, it was a lot different. I mean, I started on my own. So I learned and I tapped and I mean, I had my grandmother who taught me some ideas. So I could try it this way, try it that way. But then I did have a mentor, but the reason why I had the mentor is because I knew. It's kind of like this knowing we're going to work together. Yeah. And it wasn't like, because I've had other people that's like, well, you got to do this and you got to do that. But it's kind of like you have to really sync with this person, you know, or if they're kind of rough, have them be your yang to your yin, a good balance. Because I've worked with people who are very, like, for example, I worked with someone who was a demonologist, and that's great. So I worked with him, and he's like, well, how do you do this, and how do you tap into this, and I'm trying to do this. So I showed him, and then he was showing me some things. But the fact that his energy was good energy, but for what he was practicing, it was such a bad balance for him that it was seeping towards me, and I can feel like just this awkward, ugly, static vibe constantly that I said, hey, you know what? We can't work together. We cannot. And then again, I've worked with someone who was a black witch, and she had the heart of gold, and she was amazing.
What's the difference between a black witch and a white witch?
Here's the deal. I don't believe
The shoes?
Yeah, exactly. The color of what they wear. There's an old saying that someone has taught me that magic is neither black nor white. It is like nature, both loving and cruel.
Well, that's
Yeah.
I love that statement because we know nature can be both.
Yeah. So some people have categorized it. If you want to get really categoric with it, white magic is basically magic that is not for selfish purposes. So it's kind of like, hey, you know, return to sender with love. You bring some positive energy into your house. You have abundance and prosperity in a way that is not selfish. Whether if you go to black magic, that's like love spells, and that's like if you want to
revenge spells. I want to get rich spells.
Those, however, when you get into that type of stuff, I always tell people it requires a conjuring, and whatever you conjure up is the worst debt collector.
Well, hello, they made 3 movies about it.
Exactly. Remember that?
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we have so many questions and we're going to get to them all. And we're going to talk about everything. We're going to talk about the afterlife. But when we come back, we're going to talk about the afterlife and religion and how they mix, how they don't mix. And we're going to get to the nitty gritty when we come back.
Awesome.
Yay.
Oh my God! There we have that Black Witch laugh. And we're back. That was our break. Okay, so let's just get to it. I want to know what your connection with the afterlife is. And again, I'm going to preface this. I've talked to many psychics, off camera, on camera, and it is different. There's no black and white to how a psychic or an intuitive connects to anything. So what might be real for some reader is different for another reader. But in both of yours, what is the afterlife like for you when you experience it?
So for me, I mean, I'm just going to tell you, they're just a vibrational level around me that I feel, and I just pick up on the impressions and what their life was like when they were here on Earth. So for me, it's all about energy and vibration. And I just feel they're on the same plane that we're on, right? They're just at a different vibrational level, and we are able to tune into their vibrational level because our vibrational level is high, and it allows us to communicate and get the information that we need from them. That's kind of how I see it. I don't know.
Can you expand on this, Roy? Because I love this idea. There's not this heaven up there and this devil or this hell down there. When you talk about vibrations, you're talking about this is how everything exists cohesively. We see some things and we don't see some things, but people that have passed are among us on a different vibration, on a different realm, but we're still all together.
Correct. We're all together. So they are around us. Like physically, they are still on this earth plane. They're just at such a high vibrational level that we physically cannot see them anymore because they're just energy now. But that allows people who are intuitive, who have high vibrational levels, to be able to feel their energy, to be able to communicate with them and pick up their energy and pick up on what signals they're giving us to relate to our sitters. Okay. But yeah, I don't feel that they're like, in some other realm or whatnot. Yes. Are they on the other side per se? Are they relaxed and peaceful? I do feel that they are. I feel everyone is at peace on the other side. That's me personally. But they are still among us. They are roaming. They're just living their lives around us, but just in an energy format.
Mm-hmm.
So when they come to you, you're not actually physically seeing their outfit, their face. You're just getting this vibration, and that's how you interpret it into message.
It depends. Now, I will tell you that there are some times that I've had messages from them where they'll come through and they'll tell me, now, why did they bury me in this dress? Why did they put me in this blue dress?
That would be me. I'd be like, girl, and this,
I would say the same
not
thing.
Chanel.
Why was I not cremated?
Yeah. Or like, why didn't they put shoes on me? Or I wanted to be buried in a negligee, and they put me in like, this old suit. You know what I mean?
Where's my
Like,
jockstrap?
They use NYX cosmetics on my face.
Now, Roy, how does this mix with you being Catholic? Because Catholic, we know, we're raised, there's a heaven, there's a hell, and there's a purgatory. Mm-hmm. So how do you mesh that kind of religious belief into what you're actually experiencing? So there is no heaven, there is no hell.
I just basically use what I am Catholic, and I use my prayer. I use my methodology behind it, right, in a lot of my readings. So, I do tell people, if you are not Catholic, relate the information that I'm giving to you to whatever you believe in spiritually. If it's Allah, Buddha, the universe, whatever it might be, Jesus, just relate the information I'm giving to you in any way that you feel most comfortable with. But I do bring some things in with angels, because I do believe there are angels around people as well, right? We all have guardian angels, I feel. We do have our guides, right? We all have the spirit realm around us. I just use it and, just put a twist on it. I don't let religion define me. I just let it guide me.
Yeah. I usually say the same thing whenever I talk to someone, I do readings. I'm like, if you feel you need to put anything up to protect yourself or anything, pray to whatever you find love in. I don't care if it's the fucking tree in your backyard. If that gives you love, that is the strongest energy you can emanate in a room. So do it.
Okay, but I want to go back, and this is some of the resistance that I got from some of our viewers in preparation for today. And I'm not being disrespectful or anything. And if it comes across that way, then please tell me to stop. But it's like, okay, so somebody like, and this is, it sounds like a silly question, but we know there are no silly questions, especially when it comes to this topic, because we've all thought it ourselves. Somebody like a Hitler can cross over and be at peace in the vibrational world that we have.
I'm going to tell you, I do believe that they all are on the other side in a peaceful realm. That is just my belief. We all believe different things. You know what I mean? I'm just letting you know that I do believe that, because when they're on the other side, they're transforming. They are completely taking a completely different shape. They are looking at their life and what they did and realizing that it's not really what was good or what should have been done. So they're reflecting, they're transforming, and it's all, for me, love and light on the other side. So that's personally how I see it and how I bring it through. Everyone has a different perspective on that, though.
I mean, that's a good perspective.
Well, I mean, there's the other side to it that, like, and I hate to keep dwelling on the Hitler thing, but if your family suffered at the hands of this person, to think that this person's at peace and hasn't paid for his sins, or so to speak, or that the idea of karma, that bad people
then
will
that's the
have to pay
assumption
for
that
it.
when you go over that you're standing at pearly gates and you're going to be punished and judged. You know, if you just move over and you're just all in a place of peace, I would think it's just
but that also brings up the question too, like when, for example, when Christ was crucified, and then there was that murder that was next to him that said, "Remember me when you're up there,"
Right.
and he said, "You're going to be there with me."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then what did he say to the other guy? He said, bye.
Yeah. He's
There was
like,
two robbers.
You know, you didn't know my name.
So, and this sounds so silly. This sounds so silly. But, you know, I am a silly person. But it's like, if I could connect to the afterlife, I'd be like, hey, is Jesus there? Can I say hi? Is God there?
It could be.
Do you see God? I mean,
It could be.
so, but that's nothing that comes over in your messages from the afterlife.
You'd
is the
say, "Hey,
definitive
Judy,
afterlife.
are you there? Come on, please."
know-
That's literally one of my questions. It's like,
Yeah.
can I talk to Judy Garland?
I have
Can we
different
please?
experiences though
Yes,
too,
you
because
can.
sometimes you can though. I do
Wait,
agree.
so my friend, she's not my friend anymore because she was crazy, but she was a psychic. And then I said, as a joke, I said, I want to talk to Judy Garland. She's like, you can. So we sat and did a thing with Judy Garland, and she's like, oh, you know, there's other spirits that can take her image because they just want to be heard, and so it's not, could be her or not be her. It's people that want, or it's spirits that want to come through that don't have a voice.
See, when I was
This fascinates me
learning-
to no end, by the way.
Yeah, when I was learning, because when I first started, you know, I did practice mediumship for a little bit because I didn't know what I was doing, because I did see spirits for a little bit at one point in my life. And
What is your connection with the afterlife? Do you see them, or you feel like
okay, I
vibrations?
shut that off so fast once because I saw this inhuman negative thing in front of me, and it scared me so much as a kid that I said, I don't ever want to see that again. So I took a different path. But it's been coming back slowly, and I've been accepting it and showing less fear and coming in with love. However, when I was trained by someone that was very knowledgeable in this subject, she basically told me, okay, come in strong and have your spiritual armor on, because sometimes when that door opens, it's like a classroom of kids trying to get out of last period. They just want to rush out and give you messages, and you don't know what you're getting. And sometimes you might get that one that is so smart that can make you believe so many things that are not true. So she said, be very careful.
So is
But-
that what would we call a demon?
Is that an indication that because you talked about Hitler being on the other side? I mean,
yeah.
is there a correlation between a spirit like that who would have the intention of, now I'm going to manipulate you with my message because I can get through?
Well, see, the thing is, I don't know, because I was raised to believe that spirits also have free will still on the other side. There is a free will there. And sometimes they might have an agenda. I don't know. That's what some people say, inhuman, you know, spirit or whatever. However, though, demon is actually not a negative annotation. It's Greek for daemon, which is unknown being.
Oh, well, that's
So
interesting.
UFOs are considered demens.
I'm addicted to
know.
UFOs too, by the way.
So you're addicted to demons. Oh my God.
Okay, but then let's open this conversation, and Roy, I want your input too, and also your input from, you know, being raised Latinx, because we have ideas of what is a spirit, what is a demon, and what is a ghost, according to your experience.
Right. So I deal with the spirits basically, and spirits to me are people who have crossed over on the other side. That's what I deal with. I have personally not seen a demon or a ghost, so I cannot speak to that. So I really don't know much on how to elaborate. I mean, I also a big believer that you open yourself up to what you want to receive, and you close yourself up to what you do not want to receive. And if you set the proper intentions when you're doing this work and what you're looking to get out of it, that's what you're going to get, and that's what you're going to be able to give others. Okay. So like I had told you in the podcast last week, I imagine when I'm not doing this work, a closed sign, right? It's like neon pink, closed.
Yeah.
And then when I'm doing the work, it's open, right? Open in pink, right? Blaring, and I'm ready, like, come on in, right? And then I learned to also park the spirits. So if there are certain spirits that are coming through and there's more than one, you have to learn to park them and to say, you come forward first, right? You have more of a need because I can feel the strength coming for, and then you pull them through as they start to come through. So, you know, there's like different things and different ways of operating, but I can only speak to spirits. I can't talk to the ghost or the to the demon part of it.
You know what? But this is very interesting. I'm glad that you said this because it now connects and makes sense. It's like I'm not dealing with that part, and I know from watching your Instagram shows and from having spoken to you, you have a very positive outlook. Even the cards that you read, which we're going to talk about, it's
Correct.
not about that other side of the psychic realm. It's about the positivity and the light, and that's all you deal with. So if there is this other stuff going on, that's not going to enter your experience because that's not what you're open to. So that makes
Correct.
sense, and that's the first time it's actually clicked to me. That so yeah, of course that's not part of you. You have a very different experience having studied with a demonologist and the occult. And so, what is your take on demon, spirit, ghost?
First of all, I don't know where I can categorize ghost.
I don't think anybody can because we assume it's somebody that's passed.
It's somebody that's passed and lives the same memory or has not accepted the fact that they have passed and are still stuck in this
And they're
limbo.
always old, by the way. They're always from the 1800s. They don't have anybody from the 60s saying, hey, let's smoke pot together. I'm a ghost. Boo. Like, where's that?
Well, however, one of my friends, she did a video at this old music studio and got Jim Morrison, a ghost of him walking behind.
Was he shirtless?
No, he had a leather jacket and
Whatever.
bell bottoms. And I
Call
said,
me when he's
"Oh,
shirtless."
okay." I know, right?
No, but
Apparently.
this is very interesting. Our idea of ghost is different than, I don't think my grandma's a ghost, like, woo, walking
To
through.
me, I always I think my impression of a ghost and spirit, the difference is the ghost is hanging out. Like this, you know, everybody has a spirit, but when the spirit decides to come hang out, to me that's the ghost. You know, they're there. You know, spirit to me is more the idea, and then the ghost is sort of this.
The spirit's got its own thing going on.
manifestation that reveals itself to you.
So somebody referred to me as a ghost as when, and this is from the old kids, when you would take a Polaroid and that flash would go off, you would still see that image. Even like if you look at these lights and you close your eyes, you see that image. It's not actually that. It's what our brains are interpreting, and it's happening over and over like rote.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Which is true. But the thing is, when it comes to the ghost, I don't know what to explain it. Because, I mean, I do like spirits. Yes, I agree with you what spirits are. 100%. Demons, I've had my experiences with those in my life.
So
And
what do you think they are? It's not from a religious realm.
well, I mean, I don't know what they are. They just call them demon because it's unknown, and that just evolved into a negative word. However,
But it's
it
like a
is something
negative
quite
energy.
intelligent that is very negative.
What's their point? Do they want to manifest themselves? Like in the horror films, we see a demon wants to come through and live on Earth, which I think would be the most boring thing to do if you're a demon.
I can see why it was called that because I mean, man in general fears the unknown.
Yeah, it is
Even
the
at the
unknown.
sea.
I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
in
that
the Middle
makes
East, they're
sense.
called the jinn.
Which we know was like a genie,
Yeah,
which were
which is the
manipulative, not like here's 3 wishes. They were
Exactly.
awful
But however,
beings.
they're also good jinn, which they call that were once fallen that want to basically make up for all the damage that they've done.
I've never heard of a good jinn.
Yeah, there are apparently. There's myths of that. There's good and bad
Tanqueray,
jinns.
Bombay.
You know? I'm sorry I broke that piece of art.
Are you a good jinn or a bad jinn? That is funny.
Triggered.
I'm so glad we're through that. By the way, that was intense. And you know what I have to say is I actually love this conversation because I think we're asking questions that people have always wanted to know.
Yeah.
And there's no judgment here, and it is different from everybody.
Yeah.
I know I have some friends that want to go to a psychic and almost challenge them. So they'll fold their arms. I'm like, okay, you should know everything about me. You should have known that I wanted to call. And it's like, that's not how it works, buddy.
Oh, I get those people.
We all do.
Yeah, they're fun though.
We all do.
They're so fun, and I always grab them on something that's just like that was very profound on that day, or on that happened to them the day they came in. Oh, you better pay that parking ticket.
And that goes back to what do they see of our world today, right?
Yeah.
Because you're now bringing up that parking ticket that just happened.
Yeah.
And that's what shocks them all the time. And then they're like, well, how did you know that? That just happened, right?
Yeah.
I want to know from both of you, because I think the way that you do sessions is very different. I want to know the nuts and bolts of what happens during the session. Number one, how you prepare individually, how you take a breath, how do you connect, how do you put that switch on, or Roy, in your case, that open sign, and then what happens during the reading. What is the aftermath of that reading and how you decompress? I want to know the nuts and bolts of what happens.
Ooh.
You have 5 hours? No, I'm kidding.
I know, seriously. I'm like, wait, how about days? I can do
you're-
months and years.
Do we have enough wine?
You're asking for a crash course in literally 5 minutes here
Yeah.
of the psychic and medium world. It's so involved, right? There's just so many more to it. I will give you like a Cliff Note version.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, I'm not very ritualistic about it. Before I go on, I set the intention for that individual. I call forward anyone that's on the other side for that individual to step forward that they may want to hear from. And then I bring that person in and I start to connect with their energy. I always ask for permission to connect with them. I do not start a reading without permission. Once I get the acknowledgement to exchange energy and to go into their energy zone, then I start my reading. A lot of times people are very nervous when they start with these readings because they don't know what they're going to get.
Yeah.
So I like to break the ice with a card. I use oracle cards. They usually help people feel comfortable. It breaks down a little bit of their wall and their guard. I tell them to have an open heart and an open mind as we move forward through the journey, to have no expectation at all. When you have expectations, it sets you up for possibly not getting what you truly need to hear. So I say, let's do the reading. And then at the end, if there's something that I may have not hit on, I'll leave 5 minutes for us to dive into a question or something that maybe you are looking for a prediction on or some type of outcome. And then I let the spirit realm and my guides kind of guide me. Sometimes I'll go psychic, sometimes I'll go medium, or sometimes I'll do psychic into medium. I'll combine it depending on who's around me, or I'll get information from a spirit to give them psychic information for them in their life, right? So it just depends. Each reading is unique to the individual. So there's no way, when a lot of people like get referrals and they're like, oh, you did a reading for my friend, she told me this, this, and this. I always say, just understand the reading is like a snowflake. It's unique to you. Okay. It's not like a cookie cutter pattern. Everyone's unique because everyone has a different trajectory and has different things happening in their life right now. And you have to be open and aware to that.
Yeah.
I think that's really important for people to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And you could go to a session and not get anything.
I've had a couple of people like that. They've come in and I'm just like,
And I've even,
I'm
sorry to interrupt you. I've even told one or two people that, you know what, maybe I'm not the right medium or psychic for you, right? Maybe we are just not connecting energetically, and you might need to see somebody else. And at that point, you know, we do what we have to do, and we just part ways amicably, because there's more respect, I feel, from the sitter when they hear that from you, instead of trying to force information
And try to swindle people, because I know there's that
Right.
misconception that, you know, psychics just want to make a quick buck. And what I know personally from both of you, that is definitely not the case.
I want to get in on that. Like, I do not charge anybody that I give a reading to. I just say, donate whatever you like.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
I don't. but the
Here's
thing is
also
me-
the thing, though, is psychics do have to pay their rent. They do have to pay their car payment, and you should get paid for your talent, just like anybody else.
But this isn't like I have another job, you know. This is just I get paid well for this. People will be like, "Oh my God, you were so amazing. Here's $1,000." I'm like, I don't need that much money. Just whatever.
Give me $900.
You know, I just want a couple of 10,000. How's that? You know, but
Well, and I know, Roy, we've talked about this because you did professionally start getting into this through COVID, even though you've been doing it. And you do give free readings on Instagram. And like I said, for the kings and queens. but you have to make a living, and I honestly think
No.
that your rates are probably the lowest rates I've ever seen for what you do.
Thank you.
It's because
Yep.
I personally know you. But some of the joy, and I think what the positivity that you're bringing is, like Roy, we've seen the drag queens, and we know drag queens. All of us
Oh,
know the
yeah.
drag queens. They come in with their hair naked, like, okay, read me. I'm, rah, jazz hands. And I have to tell you, even from not being a drag queen, watching the journey that you take, and then you give them a reading, and you talked about masks before, how we all kind of wear this mask. Through your reading in a very positive way, you strip them away of their makeup, their wigs, their nails,
Oh, yeah.
and it becomes an emotional journey, whether you're the sitter
Yeah.
or whether you're viewing. And that, I think, is very important to the community. So thank you both
Yeah,
for
I
your
love that.
gifts.
You know what?
And that's why I do what I do, Alex. And you asked about the nuts and bolts of the reading, and you get to watch it firsthand when you watch my show, right? Reading the Queen, because
Yeah.
that's kind of like what a personal reading is like as well, right? So it's just a little bit different because we're doing it on IGTV. It's more personalized individually, but that's kind of how it works, And a lot of what I do is to give back to the LGBTQ community, right? That's what I love doing, and that's why I do what I do. Because I feel like we all need so much healing.
Yeah.
But being part of this community and being able to give back in this way is a part of me to say thank you for accepting me, and I give back to help you by healing.
Yeah.
Have either of you ever had to stop a reading because
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
negativity?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, do tell.
I think I don't know how it is with mediumship.
Well, and you're known
It's a
as the
totally
no holds
different-
barred. Like,
Yeah.
you tell it like it is. You do not sugarcoat anything.
Yeah. Here I don't know how it is with mediumship, but I mean with tarot cards is a totally different it's totally different. You can contact the other side with tarot cards, but I choose just to basically clear out what's blocking you so you can continue on to what you really want to do. I'm not really much I can see pictures of their future sometimes. I choose not to do that because with tarot cards, it can get really tricky with people because then all of a sudden we become an addiction to these people, and they
This is a
want
question we
us to
got,
dictate
too.
their life, and it's
Yep.
just like, hey, no,
Got this.
no, and I have to tell people all the time, this is purely entertainment purposes. It's not like I may not know how it is with mediumship, but for tarot cards, I have this purely entertainment purposes. Tarot cards do not dictate your life, okay? And if there's anything that says that this is gonna be successful, do not wait for it. You better put in the work. I'm a big realist about that. However, I've had one girl come in once for a
Love
love
this
reading.
episode.
Yeah, she came in for a love reading once, and she was this energy was really, 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 really off. And I kept, shuffling her cards. And when I talk to people and I do readings, I shuffle. I shuffle the cards while I talk to people. I don't sit there and pick, just to get a little idea of what's going on. And the card that kept flowing off was the Devil card. Now, the Devil card is not a bad card. It just means being stuck into something, being like codependency, addiction.
Anchored, mired down.
You can pull yourself off because in the picture of the Devil card, the chains are not locked. So you can get off and go, but you choose to be stuck into this. And
I usually do get off and go.
yeah, and the funny part about it, yeah, me too. When I was shuffling, it just came out of my mouth. I
I'm
just
leaving.
looked at her and said, "How often does he hit you?"
Wow.
Ooh.
And she just started crying.
Mm-hmm.
And she just said, "How do you know this?" I just saw you on the floor, just red here on the side. I didn't know if he was hitting you, but I knew he was hitting you. How often does he hit you? And then she said, oh, well, this and this and that and that. And she started getting deep into it. And then from there, I kept seeing the world in reverse, which can mean a bad thing. And it can mean a good thing. It's a change of a cycle, but after that cycle, there was no new cycle that I kept feeling. And I said, I think you need, in my opinion, if I were you, I would get out of this because this could be life-threatening. She went AWOL and threw so much shit all over my room. She went nuts. Like,
Oh, wow.
like a rabid
She knew what
raccoon.
the truth is.
Yeah,
Wow.
she went nuts. And I said, all right, you need to go. You need to leave now. I'm done with you. And she's like, I'm going to come back and fucking kill you. I was like,
Oh,
"Wha-
God.
girl, you know what? Thank you. That'll leave me some bills to pay.
maybe you were
Shit.
seeing her You were seeing her partner on the floor with a red face.
I know. Maybe it's you beating the man.
But it's funny. I think a lot of people go to psychics wanting the best news. It's like, tell me I'm going to be pretty. Tell me I'm going to fall in love. Tell me I'm going to be rich. And I think some psychics feed into that energy. And when the reality is there, or the reality is, like you said, this doesn't mean it's going to manifest itself magically.
whatever
you
comes
have to
out.
work. If I see you in a successful way, that means you gotta work.
Yeah.
To do the work. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you
No,
hear
I
me
tell
say
them
that,
that.
Alex,
Yeah.
a lot. On Reading the
Yeah.
Queen, I always tell them, you got to do the work. If you
Yeah.
don't do the work,
There's no magic
you're
in this world.
Yeah.
No, there's no magic. You're going to be in the same position you were, and we're going to do a reading again in 6 months from now, and I'm going to tell you the same almost information because you've done no work at all. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You got to really set the wheels in motion. You have to set the intentions. You have to do the affirmations. You have to create manifestations, right? You got to really do the work. If you don't put the wheels in motion, you're going to be exactly where you are in 6 months and in 12 months. You know, so like anything else, things don't just fall at our feet.
Yeah.
And
My
I've heard-
favorite is when I get people go, when am I getting married? When am I getting married? Or and I said, okay, well, let's figure out why you're so obsessed with marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and then they go, I'm not obsessed with marriage. It's like, you just emailed me 4 times and then called me. You want to talk about when are you getting married? Okay, let's figure this out. Or I've had,
Yep.
I had one guy, I had to literally yell at him. And I literally went, God damn it, why aren't you fucking listening to me? Because he literally was like, I went to this, how come I'm not getting a job? You said I'm getting a job. Have you been looking for a job? He's like, no. What's fucking wrong
Well,
with
and
you?
a job, hand blow, you know, it's all the same.
Well, that's
And
a
just to
blow
add
joy
to-
because it's not a job.
And just to add
We're bringing some levity here. There's no disrespect, but this is
I
on the
love it.
rocks
I know.
too.
I love it. I think it's so much fun. I what I'm thinking about is also like people ask you like, is my boyfriend cheating on me?
Oh,
If you are
that's the best.
asking me that question, you
You
already
know.
the answer.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, I
Yes.
tell
You
people
already
that.
know the
Why are you
answer,
coming
right?
me for that?
Why are you? Yeah, exactly. You don't need now. How are you going to fix the problem? How are we going to get you out of your own way? Right? How
I
are you going
think
to learn your self worth?
Asking that just empowers them. If you give them the answer, then it empowers them to say, "You're cheating on
Yeah.
me."
Yeah.
Or I've
you know
gotten
what?
some
You're
that's
right.
like-
They're hiding behind somebody else's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Action.
need that. Okay, you know, go forth with it. Go forth with what you're already thinking.
Yeah. Or my favorite is, can you tell me what's wrong with me? I don't know. Maybe you should tell me. I've
That's a
gotten that.
loaded
What's
question.
wrong with me? As like for one, asking that question. What's wrong
Where do we
with
start?
you?
It's like, girl, you're wearing Crocs. Shut up. Shut
Are
up.
those
I didn't even need to
BOGOs?
see that. Okay, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 2 hot topics. And then we might get some cards read. But the hot topics we're going
Okay.
to talk about are when somebody that's passed that we love so much doesn't come through. And then we're also going to talk to Roy about angels, who they are, and how they play a role in his readings. And we're also going to talk about tarot as well. So when we come back. And we are back. Okay, so let's talk about, and Roy, you and I have talked about this on another show, but I want to talk about it here. And I kind of reflected on it after our conversation. My mom was the black sheep of our family. Hello, she had me out of wedlock and in a Hispanic family with so many, whatever. Like, that's just who she was. She was the black sheep, and she was kind of just shunned when she was about like 19 years old. The only person that was on her side in such a beautiful, deep way, who would actually read the Bible to her and talk about the Bible stories in reality, was her grandfather, my great-grandfather. When he died, there was a lot of emotion, a lot of turmoil, and she was the only one that was with him when he died. She has been my mom through hell and back, especially in the last 3 years. She has not really felt that visitation from him. She's never felt that connection. She's even called out like, hey, I need some help. And Roy, you and I talked about, I was with my grandma when she passed, and her death was one of the most awful things I've ever had to go through. And as close as I was with my grandma, there's never been like the waft of perfume or the image or that. I've seen her maybe twice in dreams over 3 years of time. And I don't believe in the afterlife or heaven and hell like other people do, but you still have this wish that if you're so connected with somebody and this is happening for other people, why not for me? So can you talk about when people don't come through from the afterlife?
Right. So I'm a firm believer that the people that come through because there's a message that needs to be heard from that individual at this specific time. It's not like dial up a spirit here. Do you know what I mean? We are feeling and we're pulling through the people that really have the message and the need to provide a message to the sitter who is in front of us. Can we as mediums pull people through? Yeah, I've done it a few times, right, where I can actually physically pull them through and call them, but the energy is not as strong, I feel, as it is when they are organically coming through with the message. So, and I want to share a story with you of a reading that I've done a couple of weeks ago with an individual who wanted to communicate with their father. And they're like, I'm always talking to my father. I'm hoping for a sign. I'm not getting a sign. I haven't seen a sign. A ladybug, a dragonfly, a butterfly, whatever it might be, a marble,
Something.
a penny, who knows, a condom, anything, right? Just something. I need a sign.
It's not Liberace. Oh, sorry. We know
That was
Liberace
my
didn't wear
father, right?
condoms. Yeah.
I'm getting latex.
So I know it's my father. So I brought her father through and I said, listen, I don't know what this means to you, but he's showing me a strawberry. So when you see a strawberry, know that this is going to be your father. And she was like, well, strawberries, I don't know. Like, okay, maybe he likes strawberry shortcake, but I don't know. She messaged me 2 days later to say that she has been inundated with strawberries now, and that she received something in the mail saying, come to the strawberry farm for Daughter and Father Day.
Oh, wow.
So there you go. Now, and I got all that through a text message. So like, I'm a big believer that it's not the sign that you want, right? Like that perfume that you want to smell or that image that you're hoping to see, right? It's what they want to present to you. And you have to be open to it as well.
But I'm talking about like even like my mom being through hell, wanting her grandfather's presence, has called, has prayed. And I tell you, and I'm giving some information, but this is what this episode's about. It has, even with my grandma's passing, has given us such a negative feeling about the afterlife and religion and all the ugliness that happened around the death that it's just shut us off. But it's
And
like,
that's part of it.
I would expect my grandma to come through on her own and be like, I'm here or something, because it's been tough.
Right. And I think because you're saying, so you're verbally saying it right now. Right? So our throat, our voice has a lot of power. You're verbally saying we shut it off because we're so angry, because we're not hearing. So what you're doing is you're actually setting an intention without realizing that you're setting this intention. And you are intentionally causing some type of block or guard or wall. So I'm going to challenge you a little bit, and let's see if we see a change, to drop that down a little bit and try to be a lot more open to it and say, I am open, Grandma, to whatever you want to show me, whether it's perfume, a flower, or whatnot, a bird, right? And start to show me what I need to know so that I know that you are around me.
Yeah. It's all in divine timing, in actuality.
It's all divine timing. That's what I feel. I mean, I don't know if you feel anything different or you can explain anything different, but that's how I perceive it. And with working with many, many people, that's kind of how it works.
Yeah. You know what? I tell my grandmother, when she passed, it took about 6 months, and I'm still kind of like, I don't know what it was that I saw. She made her, but I knew it was her. She made her appearance to me, but I couldn't see her. But I felt her rub my shoulder and speak to me in her voice. Call it psychosis. Some people will say that to me, but I did feel it. And she told me, whatever you're going through, you're going to be okay.
See, that's like,
But it's when I
that's
least
all I want.
expected it.
That's like what my mom needs. It's like,
It's
come
all
on.
in divine timing. Like my mom said, she saw her right away everywhere. It took a long time, and she came. It was out of nowhere when I totally forgot about it. It was just, it's in their own time. And I told my mother about it. Yeah, it will happen. I have a feeling it's already like she's given signs, but you're just not willing to see it because of the blockage.
Well, and I have to say, like, I'm atheist for the last like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But I'm not an angry atheist. It's not like, God, you believe in heaven and God, then you're ridiculous. That's not my thing at all. But it's just like, I just believe he's poof, you're gone.
It may not be that visible either. You know what I'm saying? Like the sign may not be that visible for you, right? So your mother may be hoping for something that she's going to really recognize, grandfather with or whatnot. And it may not be that intentional, that visible. So it's like you have to be a little bit more open to it and try to figure it out a little bit. It's a little bit like a puzzle sometimes too, right? So, yeah. I do think that you're getting signs. I do think you're both getting signs. Like he said, you're just not open to it, or you are not realizing.
I'm looking everywhere. I'm going to Nordstrom every day.
You just got to look at it. It's like,
because my grandma was all about fashion. I'm like, Grandma, are you here?
It's kind of just like, for example, like if it's a cat, like you're not going to be like, come here, the cat's
wait,
not
I just
gonna
have to share. I have to share an emotional moment right now. My mom has been in the hospital since December 20th. with COVID, even though she was vaxxed and boosted, whatever, she almost didn't make it. She's now pulling through very slowly, but she's pulling through. I was actually able to visit her. She doesn't have the strength really to hold up her phone. She is watching the show, and she just texted, and she's saying, "I'm feeling super strong, something from Grams," as you're talking.
There you go. Oh, I just got chills. Wow.
My mom literally
I just got goose pimples myself. Been so sick.
I
was like, wow.
Yeah. There you
Mama
go.
Rose.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Mama
They're
Rose,
here.
everybody is sending you
Mama
great
Rose, I love
positive
you.
thoughts.
Sending some love, Mama Rose. I love
Sending
you, Mom.
love and for sure support and light. I'm telling you, they're hearing us now and they know what we're doing. It's all about being open.
Yeah.
Okay, so where's Judy? Liza, it's not me. It was a Judy
She's
Garland.
looking for Adderall. That's what she's looking for.
Okay, so let's bring it back. I'm sorry to bring it there, but this is
it's
stuff that
beautiful.
happens to us on a daily basis. And I think with the LGBTQ community, we're so afraid to talk about this kind of part of our life.
I love
Everything's
it.
like love and joy, but part of the love and joy is your connection with angels. Now, your interpretation of angels is what I love, because I don't believe angels are as depicted in the Bible, but you kind of mesh the two. Can you talk about angels and angel numbers and how they are your guides?
Yeah, I mean, angels to me are loved ones, I feel, that are on the other side, that come back to us and protect us and are part of our journey as we are moving forward, right? So a lot of times you'll say, oh my God, I don't know how I got through that accident, right? I feel like I had a guardian angel. Well, you did have a guardian angel. It's not specifically, I feel an angel like you would imagine. It would be a loved one on the other side who is around you, who is a guide or an angel for you, stepping in divinely to help you get through that difficult or tough moment. I do bring in angels as well. So I do believe in like Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, all of these, right? And how they cultivate with certain areas of the chakras and certain areas of like the heart and the throat and the mind and all that, right? And how they help us also like cure and work forward. But that's kind of my depiction of it. And, I actually have an angel around me. I know who it is because I've been told by people who have read me. It's always been the same person. It's a friend of mine who I was very, very close with, who passed away tragically in a motorcycle accident. And he transformed into an angel, and he is an angel around me, and he helps me do this work and works with me as a guide, but on like an angelic level.
Yeah, that's funny. I do this. I use angels myself sometimes. Well, I mean, I have two that I work with a lot. But yeah.
Now, wasn't Lucifer an angel?
Yes.
Yes.
Morning star, darling. He was
Morning
the
star.
morning star.
He was like the hottest. He was like the WeHo angel.
He was the WeHo angel.
Yeah.
He was the angel. Now, Roy, you and I have talked about this previous, which I love, and it's comforting. But you actually also can see pets that have passed over. And we assume, well, we know cats are from the devil, so they're not in a good vibration.
Are you kidding? What does that make me? Part of Lucifer?
I'm just, I'm just kidding. But you do see pets that have.
Every so often, every so often a pet will come through for me. Like I did a reading a few days ago, and I brought through the Shih Tzu, a Shih Tzu that passed away for a woman. It was beautiful. The dog, remembers the treats and the bed, and knocking over the water bowl and all this fun stuff. I told you last week that I brought through a donkey named Sally.
I love Sally the donkey, by the way.
Sally the donkey. I mean,
Sally the donkey.
Well,
who's Sally the donkey?
she was at a donkey bar in Tijuana, but no.
Really?
No, but really, you saw this donkey named Sally, and it meant something to somebody.
It did. It did mean something to her, and it meant really a lot. It was a part of her childhood growing up. When she was living across the pond, it was a pet of hers that she had, and she rode. And it's what started her journey to horses and horseback riding and horse racing.
Oh wow.
Beautiful, beautiful story, right? Beautiful journey and the trajectory of the whole thing, right? So I brought through a bird, a horse, a rabbit, a snake, a hamster, a gerbil. It depends on what you're into.
But no cats because they're from the devil.
I can often see my girl in the apartment. She passed
You had
Christmas
such a
of
strong
2019,
connection.
and I had her for. She was nearly 18 when she passed.
God,
but
18 years is a long time.
I could sort of see, like, there's almost a shadow.
Dog or
and
cat?
sometimes
Dog.
she was a pug. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And she was always underfoot. And there are times I'm in the apartment and I feel like there's this trepidation to step back, and it's been a couple years, so it's not even a reflex anymore.
No.
It's just like, oh wait, shit, I see her. No,
But she
no,
had such
she's
a
not there.
presence there too.
That bitch.
Yeah.
She
It's
was
fun when you see
intrepid.
them.
When I
I've
used to
had
be
an
invited over to
incident
the
with
house
mine, too.
before I broke all the art, I remember that dog.
She
You
had
should have
she
blamed
had
the dog.
moxie, that
It
one.
was the pug.
Love that.
Now,
Twirled up.
Now, I know we're going to talk about tarot cards, but before that, Roy, I want to talk about you use oracle cards, and I have to tell you, as much knowledge as I thought I had no clue what oracle cards were. So can you kind of explain that in relation to tarot?
Right. So I'm going to speak on Oracle. I mean, Oracle cards for me are there's really the thing about Oracle cards. They come in different numbers of decks, right? You can get Oracle decks with 44 cards all the way up to like 100 cards, right? I know Tarot. I think you're pretty much locked in with 74, right? 78, right? And there's like a formula with Tarot. With Oracle, it's more of a free for all. I feel like going into the energy a little bit more, and it's what you're picking up on the person. The tarot is very structured to me, and it really gives a great outline on trajectory and all that when you're doing a reading. So with the oracle, it's just really tapping in. They're a little more lighthearted, I feel, as well, right? So I don't feel like they're as detrimental, I want to say, or like difficult for people.
I would always say that there's like a positive energy, and I don't know if anybody else saw this. I saw a white thing zoom
I
past
just saw that
you.
orb pass right behind you.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I just saw the orb.
I literally just
I
saw
was gonna
this
say,
white
there's
thing
an
pass right behind
orb.
you.
And just quickly, Alex, just quickly, I know you said your grandmother's name was Rose, but did she have another name as well?
No,
it's not Rose, right?
No.
Okay, good. It's not Rose, right? Okay. All right, because I got a different letter for her. I wasn't sure. I got an O.
My grandma's name was Ophelia.
There you go.
And last time, this is, from our last thing, you said that she was with an ex-husband, and his first name was H. His first name was Hector, and there's no way that you could have known that.
No, exactly 100%.
But
And I just got the O right now for her. So I just want to let you know that she is here and she is
She
around.
would have a rose next to her O on her checks from Bank of America, which I saved a book of her checks because I didn't want to give that part up of her. And it was the rose on Bank of America with her O initial. But we all saw that go
Yeah,
beyond.
I saw the orb. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, hello, orb.
The spirits are around. They are around. Let's just put it that way.
Okay, I mean, not to put you on the spot, do you mind pulling an oracle card for us?
Yeah, I don't mind at all. No worries at all. I could definitely do that.
How do we have to prepare for this? Are we just...
You don't have to. You don't have to prepare. Just have an open mind and open heart, and I'll provide you the message that I feel, and then we'll just see where it goes. Yeah. All three of you want a card?
Please.
Sure. I like that. Yeah.
If you could, because you pulled my card a few times, if you could pull a card from my mom.
I could pull a card for your mom. Absolutely, sure.
Do your mom. Do her mom. Do his mom first. Her.
Yeah.
Her whatever.
Who goes by Mama Rose, by the way.
Yeah, Mama Rose.
Yeah.
So you want to laugh? I've just pulled from the top of the deck. I don't know. I think you got this card last time, but your mother just got the card. Take time to breathe it out.
Well,
Did you get that card last time?
No, it was worded differently.
Differently. Okay, good. So this card is letting your mom know, right, to breathe, right, to release, to let go. She's on the path, I feel. She's on the path of things changing, things getting better. Hearing this message, right, getting that little bit of that boost that she needed to know that now loved ones are around her is changing her direction, is changing her mind. So this is letting you know that as she moves forward, she'll be able to breathe and have more clarity. This is what it's letting her know, right? She needs to relax, and she'll be good. And the breathing for me, I feel, is also about what she's going through, right? Because I do feel like with COVID, she was in there struggling breathing, correct?
She still is. She's not fully off the breathing machine, but every day, and she's working, and she's, the last couple of days has been a little tough.
So this card is acknowledging that too, right? That it's about you're doing the work, you're breathing. It's acknowledgement of the breathing, and struggle, but the universe is recognizing and is going to help her to get back to where she needs to be. So the card is also recognizing the effort of the breathing.
Well, she doesn't have to go back to where she used to be. She could talk less, maybe.
There you go. I love that.
Apples and trees.
Thank
apples
you,
and
Roy.
trees.
You're welcome.
Shame.
Thank you, Roy. But no, that's good. She knows that that's her path, but it's like, I mean, when you have to make a conscious effort just to breathe right, and that's all you do all day, every day, not do anything else for over a month, it's
hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah.
What did you pull? Wait.
Right when you pull that out, I just grabbed, and this is the first card that fell as the death card, which is change, rebirth. Like if
Oh
you
my
look
gosh,
at
so
it,
there you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's, if you
He
look
literally
at
was
it,
pulling it as you just came
I
up.
love that.
it's walking towards the horizon where the sun is shining.
Good.
So look
I love
for
that.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm gonna pull a card for you now. How do I say your name? I'm sorry. It's
Just a deer's fine.
a deer. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Let me pull a
A
card for you.
female deer,
That's
Ray,
right.
a drop of golden.
A deer. Okay, I love that.
Sigh.
Beautiful.
I was gonna say shower, but okay.
Golden shower.
I'm pulling from a different
Never.
deck now.
Good. As long as it's oolong tea, I'm fine.
Oh my god.
All right, a deer. You got the journey card. This is letting you know that you're always evolving, you're always on a journey, you're always growing, right? So this is letting you know that you're always on the right path as you're crossing the bridge, right? You're crossing the bridge between worlds, between different realms, between everything. So this card is acknowledging the work that you're doing. It's acknowledging the journey that you're on, that you're always evolving, that you're always open to different journeys and different ways of life, right? So this card is just recognizing your life, where you've started, where you're headed, and where you're going. So it's an ever-changing, ever-evolving, always learning journey for you. And you're, again, I love this with the bridge, right? It's the mending between the worlds. So this is just acknowledging your life, basically.
It's crazy because I just had a dream. I kid you not, that I was riding a taxi
Huh?
up
The taxi or the
snowy
taxi
mountain.
driver?
Well, I don't know. If he was cute, I'd probably ridden him. But then again, it's been a while, so any dick will do at this point. But oh, are you dial
Wait,
up?
my mom
Can
is,
we-
my
can we
mother
shift
is
it back?
watching.
Can we shift it back?
But
Does-
no,
does that
I
make
was
sense to
riding
you?
a taxi. Yeah, I was riding a taxi up this mountain of snow. He was giving me a ride, and I was comfortable in it. And that means to have that in a dream represents a journey. And to someone give you a ride rather than you climbing through this torrential road is a good sign of like I'm guided, I'm protected.
And
I'm
you've really
guided
set
up
the
there.
groundwork for your journey. I mean, I've known
Yeah.
you for years, and you've had to work and change
Yeah.
and shift. Okay,
So
how about
that card is validation for you in recognition with your dream.
Thank
So
you.
that's beautiful. Okay, and now Michael, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Let's see what card we get for you.
I'm a little
Don't be nervous. Look at the big picture.
nervous.
So this is telling you as you move forward in life, right? Not to look at things with blinders on, to continue to look at things with a higher perspective. So be like the bird flying in the sky, be like the eagle, right? When you're flying, you're seeing your life and you're looking at the end goal, right? Not the short-term gratification. You want long-term gratification. You want long-term things to happen, right? You want long-term career, long-term of everything. Financial gain, right? So this is letting you know that you need to start to look at things more with a bigger lens, bigger view, right? Instead of looking at things a little bit more short-willed, short-term, and take the short-term goals and turn them into long-term goals, all right? So maybe start to create a better plan, a better outfit, and just look at things with broader eyes.
Here.
Make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yeah. I'm not gonna go into how, but it makes perfect sense.
Well, you know,
I do find myself.
Go ahead.
Oh, yes, I do find myself mired in because I have a job, as a bartender, but I'm also an actor, and that's where my long-term aspirations are. But I get so mired in the day-to-day doing the bartending thing and how it affects me emotionally and how people's can take your energy a little bit, and so I have nothing left sometimes to want to motivate myself to audition, to motivate myself to put myself out there. And so, so that short term, which I want to run away from eventually, is affecting my long term.
And I love that. And someone like you, Michael, because you're working with people, I tell this to bartenders and hairdressers, anyone that works with a lot of touching or contact, you really should be cleansing your energy when you come home daily. Just working and setting an intention or do a protective shield, whatever you believe in. Again, like I bring down the white light from the Holy Spirit and I bubble myself. But I think that you should be doing some type of intention setting or protection, right? Because you are taking in so much energy and that energy can kind of encapsulate you at times, right? You can have energetic cords that attach to you in different areas of your body, and that can drain you. And they could be energy vampires out there. So you want to make sure that you're doing what you need to do.
energy vampires?
Yeah.
I love that term, and it's a real thing.
And
It is a real thing.
I pulled out usually when people do I always join in on it. It's just a thing we usually do with tarot. When someone pulls out an oracle card, I pull out a tarot card too because they always go hand in hand. And for you got the King of Pentacles, which is the same thing. It's represents food, shelter, and all the earthly things. But since he is the king, You have to like basically make sure your kingdom is in order. What does a king do? He makes sure the people is happy. He makes sure the streets are clean, which is yourself, your body, your soul, everything. Just make sure.
He pays attention to the jester.
Yeah. You're still not dead yet after you drank his wine?
Off with his head.
No, jester, not tester, bitch.
Now, do I get a card? I would love a card.
Wait. Just real fast, just if you don't mind. So somebody that's been helping our family out, my mom's poor dog is having such separation anxiety. It's become a huge issue. Somebody has come into our life as a dog sitter, dog walker, who is like a miracle. So he wants to know if you can pull a card for him. His name is Quinn. And just whatever you have to say. And he's I had to say you have to be open and say, yes, you are accepting this. He says, yes, I do.
Right. So is he open? Is he open to the message?
Yes.
Okay.
That card was tricky.
Step out of your comfort zone.
Oh.
So this is letting him know right now that he needs to step out of his comfort zone, right? That he's feeling locked into certain things, and that the universe is saying to do things differently. Do not become a creature of habit. Do not do things habitually. That you need to really start to look at things with a broader perspective, and it's okay to feel uncomfortable. When you feel uncomfortable, it challenges you, and it tells the universe that you're open to different opportunities that could open you up to abundance. So this card is saying it's time for you to step out of your comfort zone.
That is very interesting. And what did you pull for him?
I pulled the Two of Wands for him. It's the same, kind of means the same thing. He is looking at the world that he has in his hands that he can possibly do and be a part of in a tower, not moving, because that is his safe zone when he's looking out, dreaming. So it's time to step out and grab the world by the hands and find out what brings you passion, what excites you, what brings that kid that's in there somewhere locked up out again.
I love how they go so in hand, or how they parallel.
And I have to tell you, because people are like, oh, well, he's just pulling out the cards. I'm telling you, he's literally just throwing around. Okay, so can you pull a card for
Roy?
For Roy.
Whoa! Oh, hi!
Finally,
This
right?
one wanted to come out already. That one was just like, I'm gonna flow this. How funny is this? You got the Judgment card, but mine it's called They Are Watching.
I love it.
So it means rebirth. Okay, so right now is a time, especially I think right now, you've felt a drastic change in the energy around your home right now, and it's kind of like telling you it's time for a glow up. I feel that you're gonna incorporate something or tweak something in your system of work, maybe in your work, that'll improve it a lot more right now. And if not now, you have already been putting it down and saying, getting ready to start it. And I say,
100%.
give it a go.
100%.
Give it a go.
Thank you so much. I can validate that. So you are correct.
Roy, as always, it is such a pleasure to talk to you. I love and how both of you just make this so grounded and such an honest conversation. Like I said, I've talked to psychics before, and it's all like grandeur and all this. It's like, well, what's the reality? And you've definitely brought the reality, and thank you so much for everything you do for the community. For sure, you will come back on the show.
Oh my God, thank you so much. A pleasure, truly. And thank you for having me on last week, right? Everyone loved it. I got so many phone calls from so many different people. So I really do appreciate it. And I love sharing my gift and being able to share what I do with everyone. So thank you for having me. It's a beautiful show, and keep on doing what you're doing as well, Alex. Beautiful.
Thank
April.
you.
It's a pleasure, Roy. Thank you.
I got April for you.
Michael, thank you. Well, you got April for who? For me?
Yeah. Just the word April. Not the name, but the month.
Right around the corner.
Yeah, I just got April.
I love it. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, Roy. I want to hear what happens in April now. I'm curious to find out. I just got April.
Stay tuned.
I'll message you on Instagram. I'll follow you. We can chit chat.
And for our viewers, last episode, we had the cast of The Men of West Hollywood, and we had Nick Mask and Marie Swanby, and you read both of them. So we had a surprise where he showed up, and it was like, okay, what's really happening? And so it was very fun. So watch that episode. Roy, tell everybody where you want them to find you and follow you.
Yep, on Instagram, it's at Celebt10, CELEBT10. If you follow me there, I have my Linktree, my website, my YouTube, my TikTok, my Facebook. Everything's there, right? You can follow me there. My website is Spirit Talk with Roy. Very, very easy. Spirit Talk with Roy. Facebook, Spirit Talk with Roy. TikTok, Spirit Talk with Roy. Everything Spirit Talk with Roy. So find me, follow me, subscribe, like, appreciate the support and love, and hope I can connect with many others out there.
Thank you, Roy. And you have to come out to LA. We need to do a little, you know.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming. I'll be out there February 20th.
What?
Yeah, February 20th to the 28th.
Hey, we need to do a live on the rocks with Roy.
Yeah.
I'm down to come back.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
this.
Yeah.
Let's do a part two. Let's do a part two.
Yeah, and we'll do it at the Abbey or somewhere. Or at Mickey's.
Hey,
Yeah,
I'm down.
This is actually a really great idea.
Do you know what's
Drinks
funny?
on me.
Now I remember you. I was in the outside patio, and you were at the bar there, and you
Oh,
gave
here
me
we
a
go.
Diet Coke and
Here
winked
we
at
go.
me. My friend thought you
we
were
have a
really
picture.
hot. Huh?
We have a picture.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
We
with
were
me.
there. Yeah, there we go.
I'm the friend. I'm the friend, you idiot. Dipshit. All right, Roy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me know. I'll be in LA. Okay.
Yes, we have to talk about this. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Have a
Roy.
great one.
Bye, Roy.
Love and light, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye bye.
That is funny. That was the.
wait, Alexander,
Yeah.
so you think I'm really hot?
No, I don't.
You are hot.
Oh, thank you. Again, call me.
That voice too. It's like I'm just gonna rub a lot of monk fruit,
This is
simple syrup all
this is
over
the
your
quiet
body.
Well, this has
rage.
taken
Because I'm on a
turn.
low carb diet, so I don't do real sugar. And then
Okay.
You'll never find.
It's turning that
another
show.
love.
Darius Leo,
Ring-a-ding-a-ding.
can you explain tarot cards and how? Because people think that they can buy a pack of tarot cards off the internet. I'm not talking about your ex. Or am I? That they
I
think
have
that they
nothing
can
to say
just
about
read
that.
the instruction booklet and then they're a tarot card reader. Explain what tarot is, where it comes from, and your experience with tarot.
Well, you know, tarot cards aren't old. They're fairly new. They recently came out
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, early 1900s. I think it was
had
the
no
Golden
clue.
Dawn. Aleister Crowley brought them in, but before there used to be playing cards, which I will show you. I have.
I had no clue.
Yeah, I used to do readings with playing cards when I first started. And I had to learn the meanings of each card, or basically not learn. I learned the element, and I had to learn the numerology of it. There's like a whole science to it. There's like, it goes into the Kabbalah, the Sephiroth, the Tree of Life. Each card taps into each Sephiroth. It's an interesting dynamic of it. The thing is with tarot cards, though, it's kind of, for me, it's up to interpretation for everybody. Like if you feel you want to use the book and learn from there, you can do that. Eventually it will hinder you from actually tapping in because you already know the meaning and it just stops you from going further into it. Oh, what is this? The Six of Pentacles. Oh, I know this means check your boxes. Technically, it doesn't.
But doesn't that mean that you're being a medium and that you pulled that card, even if it's technical, that it's for a reason for that person? Or is tarot about you as the reader, or is it about that people are predestined to have these cards read for them?
The thing is with the tarot cards, everyone takes it differently. I tap in. I do this whole thing. I don't do a ceremony. I just basically cover myself, and then I ask my guide, my three ladies, to guide me and protect me and give me what seems right for this. And
What's the three ladies?
I might call my three ladies. There's these three women that have been with me since I was a little kid.
Is it the Golden Girls?
I imagine. All Sophia for sure. But yeah, it's came to me as a young woman, a middle-aged woman, and an old woman. These three women, and they've all given me messages that have been with me, and then so I just call my three ladies. It depends whichever one it comes. Call it crazy, I don't know, but whatever. I just listen to them, not in like a bad way, but they just help me out. They guide me, and by doing so, I give someone to read it, or I just look at you and we take energy. And a lot of times your energy helps me get the images, and the images of the card help me get a little bit more clarity. So like, for example, if someone's like, oh, I'm looking for a job, and then this card will come out. Okay, I know what it means, but I know there's something behind it. So if they're looking for a job, I'll be like, okay, I'll tell you what. There's a lot of blue. So there's something that you're not coming forward with, because blue would be your throat chakra. And then you have these, which is duality, black and white. And then you have a chariot, which is an emperor coming through town using his vehicle. So you have to put all this together when it comes to the superficial of what you see from the image. But then in my head, I would get a picture of him just looking at himself in the mirror. And I go, okay, what are you scared of? Right away, it'll go, I'll just, with that and that, I'd be like, okay, he's scared of loss. He's scared of not getting a job, so he's not stepping forward. And he just decides to be stagnant in this job that he hates or she hates.
Well, it's very funny that you're talking about jobs, and you pulled this after you talked about it. It says Brad the manager.
Yeah,
I used to be a manager at Costco. It literally says Brad the manager.
Yeah,
That's so weird.
It's the chariot card, but these cards are kind of sassy. Like, there's one in here that says, like, I'm going to get every dick in every party. And the friend's like, no. Like, they got some funny ones. Like this one. Let's go get that dick. And he's, what is he called? Knob Dick of Sticks. You know, the noob Dick of Sticks. But he's actually the Page of Wands. These are just, for me, they help me clear out the images, the whole, because when I do readings for people, sometimes it's like you're changing the channel constantly with the old cable, the static picture, static picture, static picture. So it's kind of like, okay, something's going to come out of this. And then I'll pull out, oh, someone wants to talk to their dog. Oh, okay. Well, I'm getting this and I'm getting this and I'm getting that. Okay. It's like, all right, well, did your partner take the dog and that's why you want to get your dog back? Because I know this means feeling left out in the cold or someone taking something from you. That. But then I would see a different image of just a hand. And that would come out and I go, okay, who has your dog? You know? But it's just strange.
So I think the point is that the intuitive part doesn't come from just owning a tarot deck, but it's being able to feel and then see and then communicate what exactly that means.
Yeah, but then sometimes, like some people, like some cards, I can just use the image right away and don't even have to tap, because some of these questions, like I told you, some of these people, they come up here and they go, well, am I going to pass the math test?
It's like, did you study, bitch?
And I'd go, so then I just pull out a card and I'd go, okay, have you studied? I'm getting a turning of a page that hasn't been turned.
Math.
A number 2 pencil that is untouched.
It's been a while since I've touched a number 2 pencil.
Oh. As in length, girth, or just the number?
Yes. All right. So, again, not to put you on the spot, but are you able to pull a card for us?
Yeah.
Can you start with Tony?
You want one, Tony? All right, let's go ahead and do it. Let's do a quick little fun. Remember, all this is for entertainment purposes.
Meaning don't sue them.
Tarot does not dictate your life. So if it says you will be hit by a car, believe it. But
Just don't sue him.
Don't ask the make and model. Too
Yeah.
specific.
oh wow, these are cool. So you got the 3 of Pentacles. The 3 of Pentacles is actually kind of good. This is just for like what you want to do, like a daily energy or evening energy. Okay, it's what you're doing right now. You're collaborating and working with people right now when it comes to work. However, every time you come in here, it's just something just said, you have a great idea to up the show and we should add this and this. This is what goes on in your head as we're talking about it. I don't know. I just got this picture of that. And you got the death card. So I think with the energy, just embrace this change that maybe you guys can be collaborating with, I would say, within the next few days and talk about.
That's creepy.
Why?
Because it is.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No, I just keep working with people, because you work better with groups of people than yourself. Because they tend to validate the things that you don't see. Like they will bring it up to you more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so creepy.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, for you.
Do Michael first.
Michael?
Do me.
How do you want it? Sideways,
He hasn't bought them
upways?
since 1972. There's cobwebs.
I
in
do have silk hanging from the ceiling. We can take it to Timbuktu.
Stop.
Never. Let's see. Oh, here this one wants to be.
Oh, it just flew out.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, Lord.
Um,
I don't like that furrowed brow.
Wait, he's a no holds barred, so he
Yeah.
might just
Oh,
be
no,
the one
I
here.
give it to me. I like it.
there's too
That's
many
not what I
walls.
meant.
I'm getting a lot of walls. Walls. You're just putting up so many fucking walls right now.
His apartment's very small.
Oh, okay. Well, it must be that because it's just like there's just like all these things I gotta fight off. I have a feeling that as soon as you stop with this inner banter of not telling, because right now it just came out of nowhere. I think recently you've been very like, I'm not worthy. I'm getting tired of this. I need to do something with myself. Drop it. As soon as you let it go and just pick that one idea that will validate you and who you are, because you've been lost right now out of nowhere. And because before you're like, okay, cool, I'm good. Bam, where's this coming from? It's time to let it go. Just get one thing. I would suggest, like, I'm getting writing is really good with you right now. Pick up a journal. Just start journaling something with you. Journal anything that will come out of your mind. I would always do this every morning. I would always do 3 pages. Right when I wake up, I write 3 pages from pen to paper because it's much more organic and you're letting it out, your heart and soul. I think that would be good for you to right now. Just write it down. You'll get your answer because right now there's just something that's really, you just feel this block that came out of nowhere, out of fucking left field. Release it. But it could actually benefit you at the same time if you learn how to manage it correctly.
Okay.
Next.
It will actually, because you did get the ace of dick sticks, which is the ace of wands, and it literally says ace of dick sticks. Because for me, the club's card is the dick card, which is what brings you passion. It's sex, it's love, it's passion, it's excitement. What drives you? Yeah, it could be an idea that will come for you and will just manifest itself to you, as long as you are aware that this blockage is something that will not bring you down.
Yeah. There's a lot of very useful information right there. Yeah.
Okay. Last but not least.
Me.
Accurate.
Oh, for you, darling, for you. Let's go ahead and do this. Alexander on the rocks. Here we go. Ring. That one just.
And the deck just burst into flames.
Most of my decks person of
Speaking of, that was your card. I kept looking at you, and I said, "Hey, there's a card that says I'm gonna get every dick in this party." Read that card. Look what card flew out of my deck.
I'm gonna get every dick in this party. That's funny. People don't realize how much action I actually get, but I think maybe it's also like career-wise too.
Yeah, no, this is actually a very good card to get. Technically, it means it's a celebration. You're going to celebrate something that's coming in. And I do feel, I mean, it just answered for the energies with that text message. You're already going to celebrate because the Wheel of Fortune is in your favor right now. Wheel of Fortune is a great card to have. It is, like I said, there's no bad card in tarot. Never a single bad card in tarot. Okay, it just depends on how you want to take it. Wheel of Fortune basically is like what goes around comes around, the universal law and everything. So basically what I'm getting off of it, besides me always saying basically, is basically
What happened was
basically what had happened was like if everything was meant to happen for
Let's
like a
focus
reason.
on me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I see a lot of good things coming your way right now. I think what you got, this is basically, you're at your 4 of cards moment right now, especially after the text message, a sigh of relief. And I sensed it too when we were talking about it. The energy just loosened up a bit. You're going to focus a lot better. There's a lot better focus for you coming your way. less in the back of the head too much now, and more of what's that word?
Noise.
Optimism. I think what we discussed kind of built your curiosity a little bit more and opened things up a little bit more for you.
Yeah, 100%. And, during COVID and all that, and during the last month, you just strip away, like, all the noise and what's not helping. So I'm going to get all the dicks in the room. All right.
You got every dick. Well, you got a friend that's here who's going to help you out. What does she say?
I'm going to help you get some, too. There's only 2 hours. I'm headed to West Hollywood. It's actually true. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you both so much for joining. What a fun episode. Adyriusleo.
Yes, Adyriusleo.
Where can people find you, follow you? How can they book you?
I'm actually new to the to the social media thing, so I just started. It's Adyriusleo. I have one on TikTok, which is Adyrius Leo, which is all my 3 signs put into one, which is I'm an Aquarius, Leo, Taurus. So Adyriusleo.
That's a lot.
So you can find me on YouTube, Adyriusleo, or on Instagram, Adyriusleo, or on TikTok, Adyriusleo.
Awesome. I just have to, going to your entertainment, can you give us a goodbye from one of your favorite voices? He's a huge voiceover artist. Can I get a goodbye from the Valley Girl?
The goodbye from the Valley Girl?
Yeah.
We can totally go to Mickey's. I know you work there, but every time I've left, I had something icky. Thanks for joining us at On the Rocks Radio. My name is Bethany. Hi.
It's so good, you guys. It's so good. I want to hang out with Bethany. Michael, where can people find you and follow you?
Instagram, Michael Vega Acts, michaelvega.com, Michael Vega. That's it.
That's it. And, that's it for us, folks. It's always a grab bag of fun every week on The Rocks. You never know who's going to show up or what we're going to talk about. Big thank you to our fabulous guests, my co-host, Michael Vega, my engineer, Tony Sweet, our social media clip editor, Alexis Mendez. Please like, share, subscribe so we can continue bringing you this fabulous programming for free. Coming up, we have Heartthrob. I missed the T in my thing. AJ Freese from Netflix's Lost in Space.
Oh, wow.
He's also in CW's Riverdale is coming, and we're going to talk about his role as a heartthrob. So I'm really excited.
I want to hear that.
Yeah, me too.
Get all the dicks.
Yeah.
He's straight, but we'll talk about that. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy, and most of all, stay tipsy. See you next Tuesday.
Can I add one more thing?
Yes. Hurry up.
Okay. Also find me on Embodying Mystical Mac, where I do the astrological charts once a month on every new moon, which is coming up next week.
On that note, see you next Tuesday.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week.